What's going on, guys? Nick here. So this is going to be the second part to the Sunday analysis. So we're pretty much just reviewing the pairs that I analyzed for you guys, and we're going to see how they played out through the week. We do this every week, and that's kind of the good thing about these trading view charts is that they're active charts, meaning you can play it forward from the original analysis and see how it's playing out. So you can actually use these to guide some trades, see how these analyses line up with yours. And yeah, so that's what this session is for. We're going to review all of these and see how they played out for this week. Okay, keep in mind that I'm not going to go into further analysis yet. That's going to be for Sunday when I pretty much tear down all these patterns again, or all these pairs again, and give you guys a fresh analysis. Okay, so we're just going to pretty much go over how these played out and just discuss them a little bit. And then, maybe touch a little bit on, some potential scenarios, but let's just get into it. So we're going to start off with DXY, as we usually do with the Sunday analysis. And this is because usually if DXY is doing something big, if it's moving with a lot of volume, like back here a couple weeks ago, rest of the market is in terms of major pairs usually are going to follow, or they're just, correlated to the dollar. So it's good to know where it's going. You don't want to get caught off sides with a spike move on the dollar or something. So it's always good to analyze it. We don't trade it. We use it more as an indicator. Like I was saying, when this thing starts to move, a lot of the other major pairs will start to follow. So the original idea on Sunday was clearly bullish. We're bullish as long as we're above this monthly, and then we're bearish if we break below it and see some lower highs. So both these scenarios are bullish. It's just we're waiting for it to play out in either of these ways, as these are the most conservative. So we'd like to see a nice pullback to touch this zone again, this monthly, as well as 38.2 fib level. So that'd be good to get another touch, confirm some ranging in here, and then we'll look for it to continue to the upside, just trying to ride that trend. Or we'll see it start to increase in volume now and start to push into this upper zone where we'll look for higher lows to kind of confirm this as a continuation. Okay, so let's see how it played out. All right, so it's pretty much sideways. There was some movement here, a little bit of bullish momentum, a little bit of bearish momentum, but it really didn't break beyond this low and it didn't break beyond this high. So this is more or less sideways movement for the whole week. Okay, so this is either going to continue or we'll start to see the volume kick in. This would be really nice to see if we saw a nice pickup in volume here, bearish volume, spike down to this 38.2 level, catch a reversal, and then that same volume continues to the upside. Okay, so that would be really nice to see. Both these are still valid, but we'll have to see how it plays out next week. And again, I'll have more to say about DXY on Sunday when we do the Sunday Market Blitz. Okay, so let's move over to AU, which is our first tradable pair. So the original idea on this one, again, this is going to be pretty correlated to the dollar. So whatever the dollar is doing, you'll see the movement on this inverse, correlation. So if the dollar's appreciating, you'll see AU start to depreciate. Okay, so the idea here was overall bearish. We again have a very key zone here at our weekly, 0.76. As long as we're below it, we are definitely bearish. And if we see some higher lows above it, that's confirmation of a change of trend to the upside. Okay, but clearly we are below and we're at a low where we saw a little bit of support. This is more or less a fake out here, but this level is holding pretty strong right at 0.75. Nice psychological level right in this area. Very easy to see. So the next part was pretty clear to see, right? We want to see a lower high. That's definitely a major characteristic of a downtrend and plays a big part into us, catching a reversal and entering on a trade around this 38.2 level. So good confluence there as well. This was the original idea, waiting for it to give us a lower high and then dump down towards a negative fib level and key support at 0.74. So that was definitely the most likely scenario. However, here is the bullish scenario where we see a break of resistance at 0.76, higher low confirmation, and then a continuation to the upside. So let's see how it played out. So exactly what we expected. Perfect lower high, wick of the weekly, pretty much to the pip. That's exactly what you want to see, and then there's tons of lower time frame confirmations. This is a great rejection and then follow through on this bearish momentum. But it moved quick, so there were definitely some entries on a lower time frame, but it happened quick. So you had to be pretty much ready on the trigger for that. But played out well. We hit our target right at the negative 27. dropped perfectly. Now it's pulling back. Maybe we'll see a lower high. Maybe it'll pull back if it sticks with this bullish momentum. We'll have more to say about that on Sunday. But yeah, overall, great analysis. Really, really easy to see. We played it off a great confluence area and just, rode the trend. So played out well. Good job there on AU. Let's move over to AJ. So this is going to share a similar bias as AU. Both overall bearish, but obviously the main differentiator here is the yen versus the dollar. So let's see how this one played out. Usually you see a little bit more volume here on these JPY pairs. So we're expecting a pretty clear move to happen. We were kind of dancing around our key zone, our weekly here, 83.25. Nice little pattern formation. Could have been the lower high right here. So we were waiting for this pattern to break, give us a lower high actually below the weekly to confirm this as a continuation. And then we were going to play that down towards 82.2. However, if it broke to the upside out of the pattern and through resistance, 83.8 right here, we would have kind of changed our bias, especially if we saw a higher low. So we're waiting for that to happen. Always keep both sides of the market in play. We're following the market. We're not predicting it. And these two scenarios are simply the highest quality trade scenario that I'm willing to take. Anything else I'm not really interested in. It could range. It could go sideways. Could whipsaw to the upside, whipsaw down, and then consolidate. These are pretty much the trade scenarios that I'm looking for, that I would need to see to then enter in on a trade. Okay, so let's see how it played out. All right, so this pulled up again, pretty much as I was saying, it whipsawed to the upside. Huge rejection off the 200 EMA there. Good to see. Still pretty much in play because this is a lower high now, but then it dropped quick. So this was what we wanted to expect. This is ideally where we wanted to enter, this lower high here off 83.25. But again, it would have happened quick. So this would have been some lower time frame entry stuff. You really had to kind of be a sniper in this scenario. And then same thing. It went straight to the negative 27. So there were two opportunities here. One being the more aggressive if you entered on this lower high. There are some confirmations there. There's actually a beautiful engulfing. So if you did enter there, again, a little more risky, a little more aggressive, but turned out to be a great trade. And then we had a even more clear trade here. Great confirmation, and would have been a great risk reward as well. So anyone who got it, you would have been pretty damn good on this trade. So this one played out well also. So that was AJ. Let's move on to UJ. Okay, this one was overall bullish. As we could see, a little overextended. You could just see how far away price action is from 200 EMA, the supporting trend line. So it was definitely possible for a pullback and then still be bullish. So we were just, keeping that as an option. You could see a reversal here. Nice little lower high at just below 111.5, and then see price action dip a little bit lower. And then, of course, the bullish scenario where we're looking for higher lows above 111.5. So that'd be a break, followed by a pullback, reversal, confirmation that we would enter on. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so this one dumped a little further than expected, but still technically bullish. So we knew it was overextended. As we were saying, there was room for it to pull back. Pulled back a little bit further than we would have liked to see. But now that we're seeing a reversal here, we can say this, especially if it follows through with this resistance zone and continues with higher lows, we can say that this is definitely just a larger pullback in a higher time frame trend, which is great to see because now we're going to begin to build momentum again for the dollar. So based on this TA anyway here on UJ. So nice pullback, again, still at support. So how it reacts now off this level, 110, is going to really determine this next week. So we'll get into that on Sunday. But yeah, this was definitely expected. Didn't pull back to give us the best lower high. Thing kind of just started dumping, and then here was our lower high here. So we'll cover this on Sunday again. So we'll get some good ideas going on UJ. Let's move over to EJ. Okay, so this one was starting to flatline a little bit. You could just see the momentum dying, right? We had a whole bunch of consolidation here, then just sad excuse of bearish volume here. A little bit of bullish volume, which is nice. Large candles, but then again, same thing happens. Price action dies, and we fall back into this low momentum stuff. So definitely a consolidation pattern, moving sideways. But we were recently bearish because we broke our key support level, or weekly at 132.75. That was pretty much holding the higher lows for this previous bullish trend here on the 4 hours. So once we saw that, definite transition to the downside. We even got a pretty deep pullback here, just shy of 78.6 fib level, but nonetheless, great confluence area for a lower high. There it was, and now here we are, consolidation. So the idea was to see an increase in volume. We had spotted one thing at this level, right at 132. We had not seen a higher low with conviction or a lower high with conviction. So that was clearly the most ideal scenario here. We wanted to see that play out on either side of the market, and then we would make decisions based on that. So let's see how it played out. It did push up a little bit and wicked off the MAs here, but not really the lower high you want to see. You definitely want to see this level tested, wicked, nice reversal at that level. So, if you were to enter on this, I mean, that's one hell of a candle. Great conviction on that. So you would have had to be quick if you did enter on this. Again, another sniper entry if you were able to catch it, but played out exactly as expected. Fell to the support we had labeled, just 0%, because we had seen such rejection before. So we weren't going to push our luck. We had a realistic target, and it fell right to that. So this was pretty good. We'll cover this again on Sunday. Let's get over to gold now. See how this one played out. So we were bearish because we dropped below 1800. How we've seen price action react at this level has kind of determined the higher time frame trend, especially on the 4 hour daily here. So we're expecting bearish volume start pushing down, and we were targeting the monthly. And for us to consider long opportunities again, we need to see a higher low above this weekly level here at 1825. But I mean, you guys can see here that this is definitely looking bearish just leading up to this point. I mean, if we reversed above 1800, this would probably be a slightly different analysis. But if you just look to the left, it's lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Maybe lower low is next, especially with how this is positioned. So we're definitely expecting at least to get to this monthly if we saw that bearish volume kick in. So let's see how it played out. Not much activity whatsoever. Again, this is the daily chart, so there's less candles here, but the volume is pretty damn low, especially if you just look to the left. Look at the size of this candle. This is larger than the last 2 weeks combined. So definitely moving sideways, still in a consolidation phase. We're still waiting to see something a little more significant before we make any moves on gold. So that's recap for this week. I'd say 50-50. I mean, we didn't really see much action on a couple things here. I mean, DXY was pretty much sideways. Gold was pretty much sideways. But we did see some pretty accurate analysis out of AU, AJ. UJ, not a great scenario as it was still pulling back. We were anticipating that. So if you were counter trend trading, you would have got something good out of that trade. But yeah, 50-50. So EJ, AU, AJ played out pretty much exact. The rest were either, neutral for this week and still valid for next, or it just didn't play out as expected. So we'll get into this more on Sunday, guys. We're going to cover these same pairs, or I will at least these 6. Angelo has another set. But yeah, guys. So I'll see you again then.
All right, guys, let's run through some of the analysis from last week. So if you attended the Sunday Market Blitz, we went over all of the major and minor pairs. I'm going to cover the major pairs as a part of my review for the week. So we're going to get started with NZDUSD. As always, we will hit on the higher time frames. I did not drop my published ideas on TradingView last week because I got a little bit too busy. This week I'll get back to that though. I apologize to you guys. So on the weekly time frame, we noticed going into last week that we had this spinning top candle here at the top. So let's go ahead and highlight this. This is that spinning top candle right here, wick to the upside, wick to the downside after this retracement. So market overall is bearish, had this large push down, retraced up, spinning top. That's why we were expecting price to fall off for the week. Coming out of the daily time frame, we can clearly see price is in a downtrend, formed this lower high, and then we were coming up to retest what I had labeled as a resistance zone right here. So let's come down to the 4 hour. 4 hour time frame again, price is super bearish right here in a downtrend for sure. And then going into the week, pretty much price opened up right here. So we were anticipating a retest of the resistance level. This is what we had marked on Sunday, this area. Price came up here. As soon as these started forming, guys, or you set a limit order in here, this is where we took our entry. I originally put on the call to enter here. So if you did get at the entry that was on the call, you would have gotten into this trade right here. Price ended up rejecting this previous high. So remember, unless this high was broken, we were still in a downtrend. This was respected ultimately. And then we ended up pushing to the downside. This thing did end up going about 120 pips. So almost 2-to-1 on this trade, NZDUSD. And you could have even re-entered on the retest right here. So this is just our swing trading analysis, our swing trading idea. You can see I have this trend line here. So I was saying on the call, if price broke the resistance level right here, we were then looking for that retest and then to go long. As you can see, price never broke the level. It came up, tested it, wicked to the upside with these doji candles, and then pushed to the downside. So going into the next week, we are definitely going to look for more downward movement on this one. So that's NZDUSD. Let's take a look at USD Swiss franc next. This one got stopped out, but it was still the right trade idea. So we're going to review it just from the top. So weekly time frame, I had marked this 93 level. I was anticipating price to come up into this area. Look at how we have support here, resistance here, and then ultimately, price broke through here but fell back below. So I was looking for that retest going into last week. And we also saw, even though there was this large push up, we saw this reversal, signs of reversal here with these candles at the top with all these wicks. Coming down to the daily time frame, again, this thing shot to the upside, so it did look very bullish, but I was literally just looking at this 93 level, and we had an evening star going into last week, so that was telling me that sellers could have been stepping in. And then ultimately, where was the trade idea? So guys, when I have a big confirmation like a weekly level up here and it gets tested, normally I'll look for the first retest to go short. So I was looking to retest this 92,400 level to get short. That was right where we wanted to enter. As you can see, price did test this area, but we just had our stops a little bit too close. We played it conservative. We should have put stops really up here above the high, so that if price did come up, we had some room. But we put stops a little bit lower, ended up getting stopped out, and then hit our target, so ended up shooting to the downside. But still the right trade idea. Playing the zones, zone was tested, broken up the 4-hour level, broke this resistance level, retest, ended up shooting to the downside. So that was USDCHF. Next, let's go to EURJPY. Let's bump up to the weekly time frame. So on this one, overall, guys, going into last week, we were just in this retracement the week prior. So I was looking for price to continue to the downside. So I say retracement because look at how this candle pushed down. We retraced. This wasn't any sort of bullish move. It hadn't tested this 118 level yet. So this is also where I was looking for that reversal to the upside. So as we can see, last week finally got down to that level. So now we could see price come up. Let's just go down to the 4-hour time frame. We could even see like down on the daily time frame. This is a swing trade from the previous week. So pretty much we were just looking for the retest of this zone. We had support here. Let's look. We had resistance here, support back here, support here. Price came up, tested as resistance, and then just dumped to the downside. So then let's look at, this is where last week was in this area. So the 4-hour was literally just in a downtrend. So 4-hour broke support, retest as resistance. Not quite, but have a little retest there. And then look at this, break of support, retested it not once, but twice. This is where we should have been re-entering, and then ended up shooting to the downside for the week, and then retraced like on Thursday, Friday. So that was EURUSD, was just continuing this overall kind of swing trade idea. Next, let's go to GU. So this is a trade we give out on the call. We literally just entered too early. So let's go up to the weekly time frame. So weekly time frame on this one, pretty much the idea on this was we had price in a bullish trend, ever since October of 2020. So this thing had been moving up even before that. I mean, all the way since like May of 2020. So over a year, this thing has been pushing up. And then finally, price hit the high, pulled back and then retested this area. So this is basically where, let me see this. Boom. So this is actually December was right here, and then it obviously took it to the upside. So this is basically where price we were expecting a reversal back to the upside because of this liquidity zone. I'm going to just zoom out. What is this based on? It's based on support right there, even some support in this area. We could even go further back, support there. So this is a serious level that it came in. So I was expecting it to shoot up a little bit sooner than it actually did. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame, pretty much on the call, what we saw was we had this like bullish engulfing candle. Price ended up shooting up, 40 pips, and then ultimately we were too early. It came back down, hit our stop loss, and then as we can see, price actually made its move to the upside a little bit later. Once price came down into this level again. So anything in this zone, as soon as we're seeing rejection, we really should have been buying, and we should have been putting our stops. Let me show you a little bit lower than we were doing. So like, say this candle, for example, long wick to the upside. Say we just bought there, through stops below the low, start targeting back to these highs. Look at this trade. I mean, the trade would have been up 100 pips. So even here, even the next area, price hits the low again. We start to get all these wicks. Don't exactly have like a clean bullish engulfing candle, but this is an inverted hammer. So that's a, bullish reversal signal. And then ultimately just shot to the upside. So definitely had some, opportunities to enter there. We had our TP1s and TP2 set. Just got in a little bit too early on that one. Next, let's go to USDCAD. This one was an idea that was invalidated for the week. So let's go up to the weekly and just take a look. So I was expecting price to continue to the downside on this one. As you can see, it actually shot up. Looking at it now, this was an inverted hammer candle, so this is a bullish signal. So we probably should have been trying to buy this last week. Looking at this again. So pretty much going into the week, we opened up, right here. So price ended with this break of structure. So we had this push up. This was that inverted hammer. So it started off bullish, ended up, didn't cover the entire bullish push, but did retrace. Then ultimately what I was looking for was the retest of this zone short, but it just flew up. So at this point now, this is what we were talking about on the call. We were either trying to short it here, or we were looking for the break and the retest, which now we have the break and the retest. So at this point this week, we are definitely going to be trying to actually go long on this one. So as soon as we see any sort of rejection in this area, that's when we're going to try to go long. And we could even start to fib this because it is a new trend that did form, like fib from the low, fib from the new high. But this will be covered on Sunday and Sunday's analysis. But price does find support here. This will be a great great trade. 2.5 risk reward. Looking in this area, look left, some support here as well. So yeah, that's UCAD. Last but not least, let's go to GBPJPY. GBPJPY. This was the best trade of the week last week. We covered this to a T on the call. What I want you guys to do is to take a look right here. This is when price opened up. On the call we mentioned if we get a bearish engulfing at this level to short it right away. As we can see, this was a support level, a resistance level, support level, resistance level, and we got that bearish engulfing. So this ultimately was the trade. And guys, this thing ripped all the way down to literally like the last potential TP. If we had our fibs marked all the way from the previous high to this low, you know what I'm saying? Like this was literally the last TP was down here, but it did rip about 290 pips. So would have called that one on the call last week. If you guys attended the Sunday Market Blitz, this week we will have another call tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Come through if you guys are trying to learn. If you guys are trying to learn the swing strategy. This is our rapid signals room. So during the week, we give out all of our trades in here with the TP, stop loss, entries. As you can see, tons of trades are going out per day. Literally 10 to 20 trades are given out every single day during the week. So if you guys are interested in getting signals and getting some assistance, as you can see here at the end, I have a copier set up where I'm copying the signals. There's definitely some good trades that are given in there. So if you guys are interested in the signals, just come to our Telegram group, come to the top, and you can click on Signal Services to get started. So this was the market analysis review for this week, and we'll catch you guys on Sunday for the new analysis for the week ahead.